Part 1. The Question in the Jungle. In 1972, deep in the dense, humid jungles of Papua New Guinea, a local politician named Yali posed a question that would later haunt biologist Jared Diamond for years. With curiosity and a hint of frustration, Yali asked, "Why is it that you white people develop so much cargo, but we black people had so little of our own?" At first, it seemed like a simple question about material wealth, but Diamond quickly realized it was far more profound. Yali wasn't just asking about things. He was asking about the destiny of entire peoples. Why did some human societies conquer, colonize, and dominate others, while countless communities remain isolated and underdeveloped, despite having the same capacity for intelligence and creativity? This question became the spark that led Diamond on a decades-long journey to uncover the hidden patterns behind human history. It forced him to challenge the conventional explanations that blamed racial superiority or cultural destiny for global inequalities. He wanted a scientific, evidence-based answer, and the result was Guns, Germs, and Steel. Part 2. Rewriting the rules of history to understand the story of human civilizations. Diamond looked beyond kings, armies, and famous battles. He asked, what underlying factors allowed some societies to thrive while others struggled? The answer, he discovered, was not the brilliance of individuals, but the accidental advantages of geography and ecology. Some regions of the world were simply blessed with conditions that made survival easier and, crucially, allowed populations to grow. Large, dense populations were the first step toward complex societies because they could support specialists, farmers, craftsmen, leaders, and develop technologies that isolated groups could not. Diamond found that the availability of domesticable plants and animals was the single most decisive factor. Wheat, barley, rice, and maize, crops that could produce abundant calories and be stored for long periods, became the foundation of agricultural societies. Likewise, animals that could be domesticated for food, labor, and transport, cows, sheep, goats, horses, gave certain regions a massive advantage. Societies that lacked these resources had to rely on hunting and gathering, which limited population size and technological development. This explanation reframed history. Success was not about intelligence or culture, but about the environments into which humans were born. The continents themselves, their orientation, climate, and resources shaped the fate of civilizations long before kings and generals came into play. Part 3. The engines of conquest, guns, germs, and steel once certain societies had developed agriculture and complex structures. They gained three pivotal advantages, which Diamond calls guns, germs, and steel guns. Technological innovation in weapons allowed societies to project power far beyond their borders. Societies that had access to metallurgy and the resources to make advanced weapons could conquer others with little effort. Germs. Diseases like smallpox, measles, and influenza decimated populations that had no prior exposure. Europeans, who had lived alongside livestock for millennia, developed immunities to these pathogens. When they traveled to the Americas, Africa, and the Pacific, these germs became inadvertent weapons of conquest, wiping out entire civilizations without a single battle. Steel. Tools, armor, and infrastructure made from iron and steel gave societies an industrial and agricultural edge. Advanced metallurgy allowed for efficient farming, stronger fortifications, and more effective weaponry, creating a cycle of growth and domination. Through these mechanisms, societies with geographic and ecological advantages could expand, colonize, and influence the rest of the world, not because of moral superiority, but because of the environments they inherited. Part 4. The role of continental orientation. One of Diamond's most striking insights involves the axis of continents. Europe and Asia stretch east to west, while Africa and the Americas stretch north to south. Why does this matter? East-west continents share similar climates and day lengths across long distances, which allow crops and animals to spread easily. For example, wheat grown in the Fertile Crescent could be transplanted across Europe and Asia with minimal adaptation. In contrast, crops and animals in north-south continents face drastic climate changes, making transfer difficult and slowing the spread of agriculture. This subtle difference helped Europe and Asia develop denser populations and technological innovations faster than the Americas or sub-Saharan Africa. Geography wasn't destiny in a moral sense, but it was a decisive structural advantage. Part 5. Collapse and Adaptation Diamond doesn't just explain why some societies conquered others. He also examines why some civilizations failed or collapsed. Environmental mismanagement, overpopulation, and resource depletion have doomed empires throughout history. From the Maya to Easter Island, human ingenuity sometimes faltered in the face of ecological constraints. This perspective provides a cautionary tale. History is not only shaped by conquest, but also by the careful or careless management of natural resources. It reminds us that survival is not guaranteed, even for most powerful societies. Part 6. Lessons for today: ultimately, guns, germs, and steel teaches us to see history through the lens of systems and chance, not inherent superiority. Diamond's work emphasizes that global inequalities are rooted in geography and ecology, not race, intelligence, or culture. It also invites readers to reflect on our modern world. Climate change, technological revolutions, and globalization are modern geographies that will shape the future of human societies. By studying the past through Diamond's framework, we gain insight into the forces that continue to influence our destiny. Yali's question, why do some people have so much cargo and others so little, is answered not with blame, but with understanding. Human history, it seems, is a story written by the silent hands of plants, animals, germs, and geography, with humans as both actors and witnesses.